Hello, everybody, and welcome to 3+1, the live cast with Tracey, my beautiful co-hostess. How are you doing?
I am fabulous. How are you?
You are fabulous this week. I know we have a lot to congratulate, and we'll get to that with this week's amazing guest, the one and the only fashion innovator and designer, NeShanta Davis. NeShanta, how are you, my love?
I'm doing well. How are you guys?
Great. Thank you for asking.
Yeah, I'm really good, and I know I want our viewers who are out there, whether you are on YouTube or if you're on Facebook Live, join us in the chat. Let us know who you are and where you are coming from as we engage today. Tracey, now is everything a done deal? Is the house signed, sealed, and delivered?
Tomorrow is closing. I have been cleared to close today. So excuse me if I'm just super giddy and cheesy, NeShanta. I am just over the moon excited.
Have your moment.
So I'm like, So yes, I'm excited.
That's right. Have your moment. You deserve the moment. You deserve the moment. And NeShanta, my love, how are you?
If you need an interior designer.
Yes, you can come over, but give me a couple of days first. I'm doing this all by myself, so I'm kind of like, but absolutely. I'm already on your website. I'm about to buy this handbag, so.
You know what? Hello, CJ. Welcome. Glad that you could join us. NeShanta, we're going to go ahead. I'm going to put you on the spot right off the bat. Before you tell us anything about the magic that you work, when you look at Tracey, what would be one word that you just, from the simple glance of this woman, that you would say would fit her style? Describe her style in one word, just from the look of her.
I have to merge two words together. I'm going to go with sophistichic.
Sophistichic. And I think that is a great word to describe my co-host, Tracey Bonner. And that would give you a great frame in which to give her recommendations as she decorates this amazing new home.
Yeah. So I have no clue.
It's okay. It's okay. We'll navigate through it.
And that's how we have people like NeShanta in the game to help those of us who don't have a clue learn what to do. NeShanta, tell us and our audience exactly what you do in regards to fashion innovation.
Okay. So what I consider myself as a multi-creative. And as a multi-creative, I dip into several pots, but they all merge together. So my baby is fashion. And with that, I am someone who believes that fashion does not have to cost like a whole lot of money, which is the reason I came up with the concept behind Dope Without Labels. So in that, I am a dopeness innovator. I'm a fashion therapist because, believe it or not, it starts here. Like a lot of people go to therapy and they want to heal this, they want to heal this. But when all of that is healed and you look in the mirror and you still don't like what you see, that's where I come in. So I'm helping to do the healing from the outside in. And believe it or not, it takes a lot of work because your self-esteem can affect your style, the way you feel about your weight, influx or losing weight. All of that can affect how you view fashion. So that's where I come in. So I do makeovers, I do closet consultations. I actually build closets. And so that's the fashion portion. Dope Without Labels came about because I've actually been thrifting since I was in the 7th grade. 90% of my wardrobe is thrifted and about 75% of my home is thrifted. So I saw a pattern, especially in our community, with people finding validation and self-worth in designer labels. It's like the Claremont twins. They went to jail behind trying to get labels. And it's so popular to stunt. I have this Hermes bag and I have the Gucci loafers and I have the this and I have the that. And it's not that I don't like those things. It's not that I don't own those things, but those things don't validate me and they definitely don't make me dope. So that's where the concept behind Dope Without Labels came from. And then I also do interior design. That is my baby. And I love to just make spaces beautiful. So my thing is I style bodies and I also style homes. So I'm a lifestyle stylist. I kind of look at it like that. And then last but not least, I have a catering company, which is for lunch tomorrow, where I do catering. I used to do meal prep, but that's a lot of work that I don't have time for. So that's me. That's what I do in a nutshell.
That's amazing, right? I think that was a word for the night, Tracey. Like you really with NeShanta, and I know Tracey, I know you have questions, so I'm going to let you take one. But what I want to say is that when you speak about you have to, when you look a certain way on the outside, it affects how you feel on the inside. And so often people have not really done a whole lot of talk around the concept of being a fashion therapist. So when you said, that you consider yourself to be a fashion therapist, I thought that was really, one, I think it's an innovative concept. And two, I think that really does have a lot of meaning for people, especially when you talk about how you can be fashionable, how you can improve how you look in a very affordable way, that every economy, there is a way to make it work. Because a lot of people really don't know about thrifting. They don't understand the value of it. So I would love for you to talk about that for us. Tracey, I'm going to let you, I know you got some good stuff. I can see it on your face.
Well, I was just going to say, I have not a single label. I think I have a Coach bag. So that is as much of a label as you're going to get out of me. But I was going to say, tell us something, places in Atlanta where we can go to thrift, because I have no idea where to find places. Most of the time I will go to the Goodwill and they smell and they have a stench. So I'm not a good thrifter. I'm sorry.
Here's the thing. They're all going to smell. And that's just the honest truth. I've been thrifting since the 7th grade. I've been in maybe 3 in all of those years that had like a decent smell. But you have to think, people store stuff in their attics. They store stuff in their garages. Excuse me. People pass away. The older generation believed in mothballs. And so when you walk into a thrift store, it's gonna smell like Polydent in Shady Pines nursing home with a hint of mothballs. It just is. But the goal is to get in and get what you need. Like I actually wrote a book. This is my book, and I don't know if I can curse on here, so I'll cover that up. But it's F Your Retail.
Yeah, you can curse. You can curse.
Okay, so it's Fuck Your Retail, and it's the art of thrifting dope shit. And this is just, I know it sounds vulgar, but I wanted to really just grab people's attention. So everything that I know about thrifting is in this book. Okay, and I'm teaching you literally how to go in, how to spot the gems, how to tell if it's an antique, vintage, retro, vintage inspired, because it's just a whole world. I just get so excited talking about thrifting. Just the things that you can find. Like I went today, I had about 10 minutes in between clients. And I just popped in a thrift store, and I have a client that I'm doing a personal shopping job for. And I have been looking for a specific item for 4 days. And I popped in this thrift store and I found it, and it was $4. Like those things just don't happen when you're at Macy's and places like that. And you have to think that everybody looks the freaking same.
Yes. Yeah.
Everybody looks the same. So you're going in. The key is you get what you want and you dry clean it. I literally spend more on dry cleaning my items than I do purchasing them.
So tell us some spots here in Atlanta that are some hidden gems that we wouldn't necessarily.
I love Value Village. It's a chain, but Value Village has, first of all, it's not just one set price like it is on at Goodwill. Mm-hmm. So you may go in there and you may score something for $1.75. The other thing about Value Village is the last Wednesday of the month, they have the entire store is 50% off. Oh. So you get to go in there and you just rack up. I mean, you go early, take your headphones, because it's going to be packed. Sometimes you may not get a basket because it's that jammed packed. But you just go early. They open the store at 6 a.m. They normally open at 9, but on the last Wednesday of the month, they open at 6 a.m. They allow you to come in, you shop, 50% off your purchase. Last Chance Thrift, I think there's 2 of them here. And Last Chance Thrift has 50% off the entire store every Monday.
Okay. Down. Hold on, girl. Value Village, last chance. Okay.
Right. Clayton, you do see these. And if I can go back to what I said previously, it's not that I don't own designer labels. It's not that I don't like designer labels. I have Louboutins, I have Fendi, I have Prada, I have all of those things. The difference is they don't validate me.
Mm-hmm.
I have a Louboutin bag that I have not carried in 2 years. It literally is a display in my closet because I don't care about that. I have it, I like it, but it doesn't validate me. It does not make me dope. What makes me dope is the fact that I can go in a store and spend $3 on an outfit, and I could literally slay any woman in Gucci, Prada, Louis, Tom Ford, any of that. So it's not that I don't like labels.
So
I want my book. I want my book on Saturday. So when you come to spin class, I want my book. I'll have my cash. I want my book. I love that. Hold it up again. I just love the outside design. That is exceptionally innovative. It's well done. I have seen so many people publish. Did you self-publish it?
I did. I self-published. I came up with the concept for the design.
Let me tell you, I have seen so many people self-publish and they don't have the ability to design well that fits their concept. And so that looks like fashion. It looks like design. It's designed well, but it looks like your brand. Everything that you have said, everything that I have seen on your Instagram and on your website fits that brand. Love it. Beautiful concept. Candy wants a copy of the book too. Candy wants a copy of the book. And if you don't have Candy's book, The Bad Bitch Devotional, you need to get her book because it's good.
It's good.
It's full of gems. It is full of gems. And so we definitely want you to bring the copies of the book. Now, also, I do want to reiterate, because you did say you love those nice brands and designers, and you can buy that and you can have that. But this is a statistic that actually CJ and I talked about on Monday when we did our and Tramicia says she has it too. So I need my copy. It's a shame I don't have one. So on my live cast with the 5 guys on Monday, I threw out a statistic about Black wealth because a lot of Black Republicans talk about, I've got to vote for Trump because of my taxes. And here's the reality check. Number one, first off, Trump's tax plans really don't benefit you at a high level unless you make over $400,000 a year. Number one. But this is the thing. If you don't make at least 6 figures, you don't even get a minimal break in your tax bracket, even a minimal break. And the reality is, only 9% of all Americans make over 6 figures a year from an actual job. Only 9% of Americans. And what is super sad is that only 1.9% of them are Black. Yeah. So I don't want to hear from these Black Republicans because you're lying. You're not benefiting from these tax breaks in the first place. You would benefit more from the breaks that Obama put in place than you benefit from what Donald Trump repealed because they're not for you. You're not making 6 figures. So shut up.
I just don't understand the disconnect. I don't understand the disconnect.
Oh shit!
I don't get it.
See, she got me cussing now, Tracey. You know, I don't cuss, but I can hold back. No, I do curse. I do curse. I say bad words. On the show because my mama watched, and then I found out that my first grade teacher. I'm so excited. My first grade teacher watches us, and I was just like, "Oh my God, I can't say a word." But I know that, Miss McCoy, I know you understand what a coon is, and I know you don't mind me calling the coons out for being coons. You don't mind. So, Tracey, take it away.
Because I was going through your website prior to the show. Where do you find your items? Like, are these thrift finds, or like how do you get or is it a secret? Like, how do you get your retail?
Are you talking about the inventory for my store?
Yes, the inventory. I'm sorry. Yes.
That's kind of like something that like we could talk about offline. Like, yeah, I would hate to just, divulge all of that information, because I really pride myself on having things that you cannot find.
And I was going to say that. Like,
and so Tracey, you're finding stuff that you haven't seen what you're seeing on NeShanta's store. You haven't been able to see elsewhere.
No, and I'm a boutique shopper for that reason. I want to find items. I owned a boutique in Chicago. So that was my thing, finding items that I could see no one else wearing.
Right.
And when I got here, everybody was really into malls. And I'm not a mall person. So, I'm going through your handbags, your accessories. I'm like, oh my God, I've never seen this. This is dope. So y'all, you've got to go to her website, Dope Without Labels. Please.
And then a lot of the splatter stuff, all of that, I hand splatter. Like, so every single, that's the one thing about me. I don't know how I do it. I just chalk it up to God. Because I'm very hands-on with every facet of my business. I run all of my companies. I have one assistant. That's it. My boyfriend he's practically an assistant, even though he has his own company and a full-time job. But I don't know how I do it. But everything that you see splatter, I hand splatter everything. I don't do drop shipping. So every t-shirt that's on my website, I literally press every single shirt.
Oh, wow.
Between me and my assistant. So like I said, everything, I'm very hands-on. For that reason, I think that's why I've been able to be so consistent and I'm not gonna say great, because I don't want to sound cocky, you know what I'm saying? But have great success. So,
it's your brand, and you have to have that level of ownership so that you can be consistent and continuous and then grow. So I'm all about it. I firmly believe in it.
Me too. And we see a lot of, I'll throw this name out. What's the Kardashian girl that got the makeup? We know she wasn't sitting in no lab.
Let's just the Kardashian girl that has the makeup. There's no reason to give her any recognition. The Kardashian girl with the makeup.
Okay.
We know she wasn't in the lab helping to create the makeup, but I'm looking at your products and it's like, oh damn, I can see this is not something that somebody pressed on like the splatter. It's unique. Each item is going to be unique. And I think that's what's drawing my attention to your products is the uniqueness. And I know I wouldn't walk in a room looking like everybody else. So this is what's got me excited. Now, Zach knows every time somebody come on here talking about something, I'm going to buy something. So
thank you.
Trust and believe.
And I'm going to buy something when I get some money. I'm gonna buy something with some money. The money's coming. The money's coming. And we can talk about that when we get to the up, the down, the clown. Hallelujah. Praise the Lord. So here's the thing, NeShanta. Number one, what are you drinking over there? Because I look like Tracey, look, you have something new tonight. Is that a Sonic's slush?
Actually, no. So it's a Chick-fil-A cup, but it's got a little liquor in it.
Racist, homophobic chicken. You got some racist, homophobic chicken over there. And that's okay. It's okay. So
Lord,
I'm sure that Clayton is also right now eating chicken nuggets and drinking his lemonade. So NeShanta, what are you drinking over there? What kind of wine is that?
This is my go-to. It's Stella Black.
Stella, I have had it. My best friend Kenji loves that as well. He loves it, and so it's not my favorite. But when he comes every holiday. He'll come. He works in the United Arab Emirates in Dubai. But when he comes, we'll be drinking that throughout the night, playing cards, and he stays here, and then he goes home to Mississippi, where we're both from. I want to highlight. You from Mississippi? You from Memphis? Oh wow! And so is Randy.
P-H-I-S.
And so is
State. So everybody was from Memphis. Okay, so yeah.
Where did you
shout out to Memphis? Shout out to Memphis. So this is NeShanta's Instagram, Miss Style is She. And in her link tree, you can see all of the places that Tracey is going to and where she's able to see the website, the fashion, and you get a good look at the entire brand and what you can see, because there's some amazing looks. Amazing looks there. Is there, before we go into the event, the news of the week? NeShanta, is there a style secret that you can share with our viewers? A style secret that everyone should know?
Okay, the biggest style secret. I'm sorry. I'm hot, so I'll just have a little cough. The biggest style secret that I can say is be true to who you are. I think a lot of times people fall victim to trying to look like this reality star, this movie star, this person and that person. And what you have to know is everything isn't for everyone.
Yeah.
Your body type may not call for an A-line dress. It may not look good in a bodycon dress. And let's just be honest, just because it zips doesn't mean it fits. You see what I'm saying? So I think you have to find what works for you, what works for your personality, what works for your lifestyle, and what works for your body type. And that's where you go. You don't go just because it's trendy, just because it looks good on everybody else. It may not work. And I think the sooner people stop trying to follow trends so closely, the better off they'll be in their own personal style.
That's a great. I have one more. I thought that was my last question. It's not my last question. We have one more for you, and it's really because I really believe it's important. Like what you're doing, there are so many young women out there, some girls, some young women who want to do what you're doing. Like there are girls out there who want to one day be a celebrity stylist. They want to go in, like they want to do what you're doing. What do you recommend that they do early so they can be successful as an adult in this field?
Study your craft. I think that, which is one of the reasons I transitioned into fashion therapy instead of just calling myself a stylist, because everybody who dresses cute or thinks they dress cute uses that title. That title has been misused and misappropriated. And it has, in a sense, given us a bad name. A lot of people are leery of stylists. A perfect example, I had a client that I just worked with, and it was very important to her that she looked a certain way because the pictures that she was trying to capture were going on billboards all over Atlanta. She hired a stylist who came highly recommended, and she was excited about it, and the stylist showed up and did not do her due diligence. She did not do her research. Before I take on any client, I ask for your Instagram. I ask for your Facebook. I ask for pictures. I have a new client questionnaire. It's about 10 pages long. That way I get a grasp of who you are and what it is that you desire to look like. So she showed up, she didn't do her research, and she had a bag full of trash that did not correlate with her lifestyle, what she wanted, the image that she wanted to portray to the world. So in a sense, she got fired. Not in a sense, she got fired. And I was brought in to take on that role. So my thing to anyone who wants to get in this industry is do your homework, do your research, be consistent, find someone who you could possibly mentor, but have something to bring to that relationship. Because far too many times people are in my inbox and they're like, oh, I want a mentor. I want to be just like you. What can you tell me? What tips can you give? But you're not it's not a beneficial situation. So fashion isn't something that I just fell into. Like I was best dressed in high school. This is something that I love. I live and I breathe. I wanted to go into it straight out of high school, but I did not. I did 10 years in the Air Force. I came out of the Air Force and then I started my career in fashion. So I actually have a degree in fashion. So it's not like I'm just not going around playing. You have to learn how to fashion forecast, because if you can do what I can do, there's no need for you to hire me. So my job is to know what trends are coming first before they come. My job is to know your body type and what would look good on your body type. My job is to know textiles. My job is to know the history of fashion. My job is to know what trends are coming and what trends are going. And I think that in itself sets me apart from a lot of other stylists, because they don't do that. They just like, oh, Cardi B had on purple boots. Let me put you in purple boots. No, boo. She has extra large thighs. So when you zip these boots up, it looks like muffins busting out of a can at the top. It doesn't look good. You see what I'm saying? And those are things that a lot of people don't do their research and due diligence in. So that's my advice.
I appreciate that. Don't go to my Instagram or Facebook. You'll see me in t-shirts. I was like, ooh, no, she ain't gonna like that. You gonna have me in t-shirt. I'll be wearing your t-shirts.
There's nothing wrong with that. A lot of times that's like this was me today. I had jobs, I had to personal shop for people. So this was me. I don't look like what you see on Instagram every single day.
Yeah.
It
looks like I wear a t-shirt every day if you go to my Instagram and try to assess me. So we'll have to talk later because I do like to dress up. My issue is I don't have anywhere to dress up for. So
I think that
I don't go out, Zach. I mean,
the term being overdressed it was brought upon us by some hating trick who really can't dress. You wear what you want to wear when you want to wear it. If you want to wear a sequin skirt down to the local Publix, wear that sequin skirt.
Okay. I will.
And people listening, is sequin, not sequence.
Oh, I said sequence.
No, you didn't. It's
And that's a good, you bring up a good point in talking about wearing your sequin gown. It could be, or skirt. It could be that maybe Senator Lindsey Graham was wearing his sequin gown as he watched President Trump in this town hall that really went off the chain. The president and the people, a national conversation that was held this week. And this is the thing. Many people didn't watch it. And so if you didn't watch it, not an issue, because most Americans did not watch it, which I thought was really revealing. This was a lowly rated television event. Many people thought it was going to be a big ratings success. Typically, when an incumbent president does a national public television appearance this close to the election with so many issues, it's going to be well received. This one wasn't. And it may have been a good thing for the Trump campaign because it really was a bit of a disaster. Ladies, let's go right into our very first topic. The people and the president. Did you catch any of it or did you see any of the clips?
Oh, I saw the clips. I didn't watch it. With me getting this house and being under so much stress, I have literally for the past couple of weeks kind of stayed off of Instagram but I saw these clips, baby, with those two women talking about the health care and coronavirus. And I thought it was great. Here's my issue with our president is that he can say whatever and his supporters are still going to support him. He's not intelligent. You can tell that he's not well read on any of the conversational topics. He doesn't know politics in terms of what we're dealing with right now. And this lady was really concerned about her pre-existing condition. And all he could say was, well, your pre-existing condition will be covered. And she's like, well, that's not true. You took it away. You know what I'm saying? And so did George Stephanopoulos. He said, you repealed what was in Obamacare. So how are you going to change it? And the issue is he's not going to change it. The truth of the matter, he ain't going to change it. He's not thinking about people like us who are hardworking American people who make probably, I'm not saying us in terms of us here, you all, but people who make less than 100,000, people who
less than 400,000, sweetheart. If you make less than 400,000, Donald Trump's policies are not going to benefit you. They're not going to. They're just not.
So yeah, so I thought that was really interesting to watch, but I also was like, his supporters don't care. They don't care about what he says. If it's inappropriate, they will follow him to the end of the cliff and jump if he told them to. So, hi.
This is a lady who actually, this young lady got up. She asked him about the pre-existing conditions. She said that everyone in order to be in the town hall, you had to be a proven undecided voter.
Yeah.
And so they looked at like your social media, they looked at all this information because they were really concerned about having like Republicans or Democrat people that were really partisan. So these are people in in Pennsylvania, battleground state, that were very undecided. This lady said that she was undecided. She was not a Biden fan. She's not she's not a Biden supporter. And she wanted to ask about the pre-existing conditions. And this is a lady that he interrupted. And she said, I'm not done talking. Let me finish my question. So it kind of, but I will say this now, and if you follow, NeShanta, I don't know if you would look at my Facebook a lot, but I am a very harsh critic of President Donald Trump. And I don't play around, but I will give him credit where credit is due, and that he really this was the most graceful performance I have ever seen him in. He usually attacks the people asking questions in a very nasty, rude, condescending way. None of that came out. He was interrupting people, but that's just his personality. So I think that he did a good job. It's just that, unfortunately, the answers that he had to give were just his traditional, his lie. There were lies.
and not, lies. He wasn't well informed. He doesn't have a vocabulary, so he doesn't know how to describe things or explain something. You can tell he's never been in a debate in school and high school. He never was challenged as a thinker. You could just tell. So someone like him, I just don't understand. Like, you wouldn't hire him in any other job. We got this man leading the country. And then the lady who asked the question about the masks, he just really didn't have any informed facts. He didn't come up with anything. I think the guy from the CDC, the man from the CDC, was contradicting everything that the president was saying about wearing masks, so I'm like, this man, and they still love him. Oh, it's like I wasn't living during Hitler, but I feel like this is what it must have been like to be a Hitler follower, no matter what he says.
I think this is a thing, Tracey. One thing in NeShanta, one thing I realized, like, the people who are for Trump are very vocal. And people are putting a lot of money out there trying to make it seem like, and these people going to these rallies. I think a lot of these people are being paid to go. I do not think that the Trump support is as big as you would want to think, as they want you to believe it, because this is what they do. When you think that everybody's supporting Trump, it makes you feel more comfortable to support Trump. That's why there's been a massive issue to get Black men on board. Because once Black men get on board, more Black men will get on board, and they will get their women to get on board. Yeah. Because the Black family structure is patriarchal when there is a man present. And that's what the Republicans are banking on. I have noticed on my TikTok, I have lots of troll comments attacking me on that platform, and they're all anonymous. They have no content. They have no real, it's like a weird picture, and, they just follow people. These people aren't even real. These are bots. These are paid people that are being paid to make comments, not to persuade me, but to persuade the people that look at my TikToks to not support Biden.
Yeah.
And they're out there for everybody. They jump on all of the different people that post pro-Biden stuff. And so it says, like, this is a tweet that matches what you said, Tracey, that right off the bat, the town hall began with Donald Trump blaming Biden for not having a mask mandate. Biden is the president. He can't make a mask mandate.
He blames everyone but himself. He blamed Obama for something. He blames the governors, your mayors. Everybody but him is accountable. And it really, I can't watch it. That's why I gotta watch Sweet Magnolias or something nice and calm that ain't got no drama, because it gives me anxiety. And I'm really concerned that there are people, like you said, these Black men who follow Ice Cube. I got into an argument with a guy about Ice Cube and his relationship, thanks to your research, his relationship with Steve Bannon. And I was like, oh, this is some deep shit. Like, we don't really know how deep this runs. And y'all following him because he was in NWA. Well, when he was in NWA, he was broke. Okay, he didn't have money. He wasn't rubbing elbows with these money.
He wasn't broke. That's another misconception. Let me tell you, this man grew up in a home with a mama and a daddy that were both college educated. Many Black people didn't grow up with that. This man went to a prep high school. He didn't go to a regular high school. This man grew up in Baldwin Hills, when Baldwin Hills was Baldwin Hills. So don't give him even then he was using the Black community for a come up based on an image of who he was. This man made me do deep. I did deep research into O'Shea Jackson.
Wow.
Senior.
I don't know if he got a junior. He can have 20 ice cubes in that house for all I care. I just know he ain't stealing my vote for me.
He's not. But I think that's the thing. A lot of people aren't going to do the research that you've done. They're going to follow him based off of his image that he portrayed all of these years. I mean, you even watch some of his videos, he's still saying, yay, yay, you know, and I'm like, Ice Cube, you are beyond, like, come on, bruh. My other issue with him, he's in the film industry. And what have you done for the Black film industry? You've had all this money and all these opportunities to make Black production companies. You haven't done it. You know what I'm saying? Tyler Perry came in and was able to do it, but you haven't done it. So, like, really, what's going on? So you opened my eyes to him, even though I was skeptical anyway. I didn't like the message that he was sending, but
it comes off very self-serving. The agenda, and like you said, not being helping other Blacks in the film industry. It just, the whole message behind him, it just comes off very self-serving.
Yeah.
And I find that that's a lot of the people who make over $400,000. That's what it is. It's self-serving. It's like, I would rather ruin the country and screw the people who don't have what I have. And as long as I'm good, I'm good. And I think that's the mindset of a lot of people. And that's why we as a country and we as a people and we as a community is so divided and is so broken, because most people are very self-serving.
I agree. And, you know, and it brought it, when he came out speaking about this Black agenda that was missing a lot of key elements that our Black communities really need, i.e. healthcare, criminal justice reform, and all of those, education reform, student loan forgiveness options. The Black agenda was missing that, but I also was like, dude, you've had money for years and you haven't done anything to rebuild any of the Black communities that you helped to denigrate when you were rapping. And you know, so I'm kind of like looking at you funny, because a guy like Nipsey Hussle, who didn't have as much money and notoriety as you had, went in his own community and started rebuilding and started doing things for his community in terms of criminal reform. And he didn't have to be told, he didn't have to be bribed. He just saw a need and did it. So I'm like, why are you sitting up here on your Instagram and your Twitter telling the white man to give us a Black agenda when you Black? You know more about the Black agenda than the white man. You created, you build it, you know. So I could talk about that all day.
You know, Casey says that President Trump blames the blue states for the number of COVID deaths. In this interview, President Trump blamed the blue states for everything. Mm-hmm. He said the cities were lawless. He said that everything was a problem of Democrats. And it really came across to me, really for the first time, I think it became very clear. President Trump really, I don't know if he really understands that he's the president of the United States. I know that doesn't make sense to anyone who knows much, but I really feel like he thinks that if you have a Democrat governor or a Democrat mayor, that you are somehow not his responsibility as president of the United States. He made that was very clear in the town hall to me. And I thought that was
another country. Oh, they don't like me, so I'm not going to help them. Unless you praise him, he's not willing to help you. We saw that was going on in Portland. You know, how he's going back and forth with the mayor out there. Like, I'm like, these people getting pulled off the street by unidentified police trucks and stuff like that, and you don't care.
He's sent there, but they're getting pulled by people that he sent.
Yeah, and people are getting shot. Oh, well, did they support me? If they didn't support me, then like that 17-year-old kid, because he was a Trump supporter, he went in and took up for the kid, and I'm like, what? Oh, well, we all make mistakes at 17. No, we make mistakes. We don't murder. That's a different M, sir.
It would have definitely not been a mistake had he been Black. They would have dug up the past of him, his mama, his ancestors, and everybody else around him, like they always do. When it's somebody's Black, oh, he grew up in these kind of conditions, and he got arrested one time when he was 7 for stealing a pack of Skittles. Like, all of that has to come up, but they don't take into consideration a lot of Black people grow up with PTSD just simply because of their environment. So that doesn't come up when they murder somebody or something happens to them or they're murdered by the police. That doesn't come up. It's let me dredge up however much dirt on them I can dredge, and then that's it. But when it's someone white, it's totally different. Oh, they had a learning disability, and their mom, had 4 periods in 1 month, like all kind of stupid shit just to make them look better.
Mm-hmm. It's insane.
Well, I'm gonna tell you who's not gonna be having 4 periods, unfortunately, are the people who have been detained at the ICE detention centers, because now they have had forced hysterectomies. So this is, of course, Dawn Wooten, right here in the state of Georgia. She works at a detention center in Ocilla, Georgia, in Irwin County in South Georgia. That's approaching the Valdosta area. Ocilla is right outside of Valdosta.
My sister is from there.
So she's a nurse there. She worked in the facility, and she complained. She was saying, number one, the healthcare workers did not have protective equipment to protect from COVID-19, as COVID-19 was starting to spread in the facility and around the facility. She also said in her whistleblower complaint that not only did they not have protective equipment, but that the inmates didn't even have sanitation equipment. They couldn't even wash their hands to kill the germs they were being exposed to. There wasn't enough soap. There wasn't enough towels. There was no sanitation in the environment. And the most shocking and heartbreaking element of her complaint was that these migrant women, these detainees, were going to the doctor with issues, and he was performing on them hysterectomies without their consent and many times without their knowledge. And that he had been doing this weird practice for years on young women, on some of them young women and older. There was no over age. These are a number of women, and that he's done this to, and no one knew, nobody was concerned, no one was saying anything. And she finally came out and she's speaking out about it. I found out last night in the news, this is the image of her. I found out last night in the news that they even sent some of the women in the case away. They're gone. They quickly started to deport these women. They quickly started to get people out of America so that when there is an investigation, you can't talk to them. One of the women was literally on a plane they moved her from Georgia to Texas. They then had her yesterday morning, or the day before yesterday, that morning, put on a plane to Chicago to be sent back to her country. Luckily, our California congresswoman found out about it and stopped her from leaving. They got her off the plane, like she was on the plane, boarded, ready to fly back to her country as a deportee. And they got her off because she's going to be key in this investigation.
Wow. I am troubled by this. What kind of procedure was he allowed to do with, was he putting them under the knife? Was he telling them, oh, I'm just doing a annual PAP? What kind of, was it non-invasive? What was this?
No, it was a real hysterectomy. I'm sure that they probably were they were being put under. Many of them, of course, they didn't speak English. This was a full hysterectomy. Why he was doing it, I don't know. I don't know. Those are a lot of questions that remain or exist. But it sounds like it could be a very heartbreaking horror, like a horror fetish, like a horrible horror fetish on the best end. The worst end is that it's an organized effort to sterilize migrant women.
That's what I was thinking. So if I'm giving you a forced hysterectomy, then that means you don't have the ability to have any children.
Yeah.
And so for someone who is a blatant racist and has, something against that race, then that's quite possible that would be a reason that they would do that.
And this has happened historically in America to Black women in the South this was happening to Black women in the South for generations. Yeah. This has been a practice of forced hysterectomies on Black women, on women who may have had cognitive developmental delays or cognitive issues without any kind of, without their knowledge or consent. I want to say something similar like this may have happened to Fannie Lou Hamer, if my memory serves me correct in my history. And that was one of the things that motivated her to become an activist. That this isn't uncommon in the course of American history. It's heartbreaking and it's sad. And this is another place where the migrants that we have in America and the Black community, they merge, our histories connect. And so often we want to separate from this community, but we are connected by the fact that the fact of the matter is we're both victims of systemic oppression and racism in this country. Period. And that's why the two communities always at war, thinking like I got to get and you got to get, and we don't have enough, when we're all suffering under the same racist hand.
And this is why I think it's so important. And I feel blessed to be in Atlanta where all of my doctors are Black. I feel more confident, not to say that, Black doctors won't do certain things, but I just feel more confident when I go see my OBGYN and it's a Black woman. And I feel like I can talk to her and really have open conversations with all of my doctors because they look like me. And I think representation in all of our arenas is so important. So God bless these women. I think this is terrible.
They just don't. I recently had to have surgery, and two surgeries. And one of the surgeries, I had to have my fallopian tubes cut because of a pre-existing condition. And after the surgery, of course I'm a vet, so my procedure happened at the VA, and it's like they're so in a rush to get you out. You're just a number. Especially at the VA, the treatment that vets receive at the VA it's god awful. So
is it still, because President Trump swore he made it so much better.
When I tell you, after the surgery, I had to be rushed back to the emergency room, and the way that I was treated, and then because of COVID, they won't even let you sit in there. So after sitting in the ER for those 5 hours, they put you out. And so I was waiting on my ride to come pick me up. And I literally just sat outside the VA and I just bawled my eyes out because the treatment is it's god awful. Like, you tell me I'm severely dehydrated, but you refuse me an IV, right? Wow. But back to the surgery, after the surgery was done, of course, I had white OBGYN and white nurses. I so happened, thank God, to have a Black anesthesiologist. And they were just trying to get me out. And I have asthma, I have bronchitis, and I kept telling her I can't breathe. And she's just like, no, it's okay. You're good. And I'm just like, no, something is wrong. Like, I can't breathe. And she was just like, oh no, you'll be fine. Put me in a wheelchair and was wheeling me to the door after I'm constantly telling her that I can't breathe. So finally the anesthesiologist comes. She was like, oh, you ready to go home, Black lady? And I just looked at her and I was like, I keep telling her I can't breathe. I'm not ready to go. And so the white nurse lied and was just like, oh, no, that's not what you said. Oh, sweetie, what I'm not is doped up.
Yeah.
I'm very conscious and I cannot breathe. So after they ran some tests, my lungs were constricted. So let's just think about what could have happened. They just so carelessly disregarded the fact that I can't breathe and just sent me home.
And you gave 10 years of your life to the nation. Like, that's the part that's most concerning to me, is that our military service members have made a sacrifice in this country that most Americans are never going to make, and most Americans don't understand because they don't know what it means to sacrifice. You gave 10 years and you're treated like this?
Yeah.
Yep.
It's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking. So I want to, we can share quickly, before we go to the next topic, some of the tweets. One of the tweets says, "Forced sterilization is genocide. The future will label it as genocide, so let's call it this now." And this comes from Chrissy Teigen, who is a phenomenal light 'em up type person on Twitter. And then another tweet was from Elizabeth Warren. "This is sickening and reflective of the worst moments in our nation's history. Congress needs to investigate these horrific allegations and the long line of medical abuse and neglect in these facilities immediately." And hopefully that's exactly what they're going to do.
Aren't they still on vacation?
No. Congress is in session until October the 2nd. And so this is in the House. It would have to be a House investigation. And so Nancy Pelosi and the team, they're working. The whole entire House of Representatives are in session until October the 2nd. They have had a number of congressional hearings. So the CDC director, you saw him because he was at a congressional hearing. They're in full session. And so Nancy Pelosi has said that they will go on recess, but it's not like vacation. So what will happen? They will be on recess to go back to their home districts to find out what their constituents want, and also to campaign, because many of them are up for re-election. But they will have a 24-hour notice to return upon her demand. So as Speaker of the House, she can call them back in as long as they're in session. But they have 24 hours to get there, or they're going to forfeit their right to a vote. And so she has said that, be on notice. They're presenting another House plan for a stimulus. So they keep presenting plans to Donald Trump and the Republicans in the Senate. They keep shooting it down. They keep denying it. But Nancy and the Democrats said, we're going to keep giving you a plan. We're going to keep on and keep on and keep on and keep on until something comes through, because the people are hurt. And in theory, if things change in November, they will have already had all the ducks in a row for another quick stimulus if we get a change. But We'll see. We'll see. There was a quick change.
They really think that, for the people who are really going through, they really think that $1,200 was supposed to stretch this long.
They don't.
You can't stretch $1,000 this long.
They don't. Donald Trump and the senators who pushed that, they did it to give themselves a nice boost, and many of them did get a boost. But they made it small in America. In Canada, I want to say you get $3,000 a month. Mm-hmm. You've gotten $3,000 from the beginning of the epidemic. Wow. The thing is, Donald Trump wants you to go back to work. He wants you to get a job. He wants you out there working, getting infected, and getting over it, or dying if you're going to die. That's what he wants. Yeah. To get to what he called a herd mentality by mistake. He meant herd immunity. He called it a herd mentality in the town hall. He wants you to hurry up and get your herd mentality on, so that America gets back to normal quickly before the election, so it doesn't affect his re-election chances. So that's why they did not give you a stimulus. The House Democrats had a stimulus plan passed and made it out of the House back in May. Part 2 was done in May. That would have given everybody another $1,200 in July, with $1,200, or I think $1,200, either $600, $200 per child. So that was already done. But the problem is that in the House, the Senate, most Republican senators, I think 20 of them said they're not going to vote for anything. There isn't any amount of stimulus that they're going to approve, period, because they do not feel as though it's a good use of taxpayer dollars.
How can they make that decision for taxpayers?
Here's the question: how can we allow them to be elected? And what's crazy is that the majority of those senators who are holding tight to no money at all are in the poorest states in America. Yep. Kentucky's one of the top 5 poorest states in the country. But yet Mitch McConnell is leading in the polls against one of your fellow sisters, military sisters, Amy McGrath. Amy McGrath served a full career in the United States Air Force. but yet and still she's behind Mitch McConnell, who has never done one bit of service and who is a large reason why the killers of Breonna Taylor haven't been arrested. But this is a young man who was arrested and freed, who married his one of the people that helped him get free.
Reporter Maya Moore.
Go ahead and tell us about it, Tracey. I know this was one of yours. A love story for the day.
No, it was just I don't know his name, but Maya Moore. I followed this story last year when I found out she hadn't been playing in the WNBA. Right. She flat out, and I was like, "Where is Maya Moore? What is she doing?" And just looking at their story, she's known him since she was 18, and she kept this 13-year friendship. With what's his name? Shoot, I don't know his name, but with her husband. And I just thought it was kind of, when I saw it, I was like, what? I'm gonna have to marry somebody in jail, like all these years. I've been waiting. But I just thought it was really interesting. And then watching them together, I get it. They really do support, each other. I mean, in this now new fight to help free some more innocent, wrongly convicted felons. So I think it's cool. I mean, hey, love is love,
I think it's interesting to me. I mean, you never know what God has for you, but for me, I'm not sure. It's nothing that I would want to do. I commend her for helping get him free.
Yeah.
I commend her for waiting 13 years for him to get free, but I'm not sure that it's something that I would have done. I think that it was very noble of her to take the season off from the WNBA and fight for him to get free. I'm sure that when her family told her about the case, that this is not what they had planned, but to each his own. If like the old saying goes, if they like it, I love it.
I'll say this. I dated a guy who just got out of prison. We grew up together. And when he got out, I was like, oh my God, you still look the same. He was talking that, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to get myself together. And he back in prison, And so I for me, I just kind of was like, been there, done that, got the t-shirt. I kind of know, but he wasn't a criminal. So I don't know what, this particular young man, he was 16.
Jonathan Irons.
He was 16 when he was wrongfully convicted. So he was a kid.
Right.
But the guy I dated, it was like pulling teeth trying to get him to go on the right path. This guy seems to be doing the right thing, though, because he's doing activism.
And I'm thankful they're working together to free other Black men and women who may be wrongly imprisoned. Yep. Black Twitter has been mixed. I know Robin Roberts sent out a beautiful tweet about it, but some people have not been as supportive. Here's an example of a non-supportive tweet. Maya Moore quit a 6-figure WNBA job to blank N-word fresh out of prison. She ain't no different than half the shorties on my timeline.
Yikes.
That's kind of harsh because
tell us about it. Tell us why. Because I'm gonna be super hard on Black men until I see a better representation being brought out. When you said, Tracey, that you were dating someone that had a history of a criminal record.
Yeah.
There are some Black men on Twitter and on Facebook who would say it's your fault that he went back to jail. They'll say the difference between Jeremy Irons and you is that he found a good woman that held him down, and he found a good woman that healed him. And it's the role of the Black woman to fix the Black man, and it's the role of the Black woman to heal the Black man, to hold him up.
They can say that all they want to. They don't know what I went through for those 6 months of trying to help this young man get back on the right track, get on his feet. The money that I spent to help put him in certain positions. My mom was helping him. get job interviews and he wouldn't show up and, all those kinds of things. So, no, they can't say that to me at all, period, point blank. And I just really want to say, y'all, the dating pool is so hard in 2020. It's so hard right now that sometimes, I ain't gonna say sometimes, I'm not gonna say this. I can understand why she felt it easier to date him, because she was able to develop a real relationship with him without worrying about where is he going, what is he doing. The sex wasn't involved. She was able to have a more intimate mentally intimate relationship.
But I would always, first I want to say that a lot of Black men, I'm not going to say all, look at Black women to be their shield, but they also look at us as their target.
Yeah.
They can't go hand in hand. So that's one. Number two, I kind of get what you're saying as far as, you develop this intimate, but also you have to wonder, like, are you with me just because you're incarcerated? You need honey buns.
Yeah.
You need them noodles. You need those phone calls. You need somebody to feel like there's somebody in your corner. So it's like,
it's a risk. It's a risk. But let me tell you something. I've dated men who ain't never been to prison and took from me, and who have dogged me out, and who have cheated and done everything else. So it's kind of like,
but
what do you do?
Outside of that, they could provide for themselves. Like I watch a lot of Love After Lockup and stuff like that. Yeah. So it's like you get out of prison, you're gonna have depending on what you were in for, you're gonna have a hard time finding a job. You may get out and you don't have anywhere to go, any clothes, like you have a mindset that is like, you got to think the terminology is time for Trey. You're on the defense. You have, PTSD from being in there. So you have to deal with all of that versus somebody who is outside who can at least help you. Like if you get somebody that's been in jail for 15 years, I'm your mama, essentially.
Well, I've only had one man in my dating lifetime that I never felt like used me for what I had to offer in terms of finances or my resources or anything. The one man, I've been around a couple of blocks, and I've never met someone who made me feel secure in the relationship, whether he went to prison or he went to college. None of that. I've never had that in my life. And I grew up in a 2-parent household. I watched both sides of my family in terms of grandparents. They were married for 60 years, 47 years. So I watched demonstrations of loving 2-parent households. And so I know what it is to be submissive. I know what it is to be nurturing and caring and giving and all of those kind. I know how to speak to someone without belittling. And I've never experienced a true love except for once in my life.
Do you think that
we're having therapy, people?
Right, because I go once a week.
I'm the fashion therapist.
Yeah. I just sit back and observe.
Do you think that because they say you typically deal with you're typically in a relationship on the level that you're how do I word it?
You attract what you think of yourself.
Right. So
yeah, I don't.
I recently, because I was with my ex for 25 years.
Wow.
And I
recently for 25 yourself.
Okay, I exfoliate. Thank you. No, I have a 20-year-old son.
Oh.
Yeah. I
wow.
do. You look amazing. Thank you.
Wow.
I recently realized about myself that I have attachment issues, and the attachment issues came because my father wasn't there present. And then they heightened because my stepfather walked out, and then they heightened because I have a mother that is like unloving, and then they heightened because I was in a loveless marriage, if you will. So all of these things develop into attachment issues. So it's like, okay, you meet somebody and it's like, okay, I like you. I don't want to let you go. And it's like, I don't want to let you go because so many people from my past, as far, my dad and my stepdad left. So that was something that I had to work through. So it may be like, okay, you see the loving parent home. You came from a loving parent home, but that doesn't mean that the energy that you put out, it may be like so loving that it's attracting people who only want to take. And because you're so loving and so giving, you keep giving without setting boundaries and setting standards and recognizing like, this isn't real true love. Let me pull back.
So now
you're being your grandmother in this ideal scenario, but you're not meeting your grandfather.
Yes. So
you know what I'm saying? Like
that is a great point that she made. Here's the thing. Now I have completely, like, I don't like to give much at all. Like if I don't call you and you don't call, we're not talking. If you don't, I don't go out on dates. I don't do any of that anymore because I do have this thing like, well, I did give too much, too soon. I did, I stayed in situations longer than I should have and continued to give and forgive. And now I don't know how to be anymore because I'm trying to find that balance, right? And I don't know how to be. So now I choose not to be at all.
I think that you have let the circumstances change you, and that's something that you should change because you want to, not because of the circumstances, right? So I think it's a matter of going into situations and just being way more cautious, looking for the red flags and looking for the signs, and not necessarily believing what it is that someone says, and looking at what they do. I know for me, I have my intuition is like, I pick up on things, and it used to be like me just giving people the benefit of the doubt. No, they wouldn't do this to me. And oh no, I'm just overthinking, or maybe I'm being insecure, or maybe I'm just being paranoid. And instead of continue with that mindset, because that mindset will get you screwed, you just have to pay attention to those things and learn that it's okay to keep loving hard, and it's okay to keep giving of yourself as long as you're giving and loving that right person.
Yep. That's the key. I don't think I've met the right person. So, and my intuition, like yours, I've learned to tap into it now. Like the moment I see it, I'm like, I've seen that before. Let me back up. Let me redirect. And so now my focus has been just my career. So I feel like I'm in a relationship with my career. I don't look.
And yourself. That's the best relationship to have.
That's just what it is right now.
Yeah.
Sorry it went to this, guys. We had to have a little,
Yeah, I think it's a good thing. I think it's a good thing. And you know what? People are still here. People did not log off because this is a word. This is, my belief system is that when things are said in any environment, it's because the people who are watching it need to hear it. So even though NeShanta was talking to you, she was really talking to somebody watching this as well. And everything that we're saying is all meant to be. So everybody who watches this at any point, this is a message they're going to get. Some people are going to watch later and they're going to skip around. They're going to like fast forward and boom, this will be the part of the live cast they get because this is what God intends for them to hear from the experience. My belief is no matter what people do, you don't change you. You just, that's me. And I learned that very early in life. There were a lot of people who had a lot to say about me because of who I was and how I am from birth. And there was no one who was going to take my light from me, no matter who you were. I wasn't going to be quiet. I wasn't going to not say what I think and feel, and I wasn't going to change who I am. And no matter how people responded to it, that was them and their problem. And so I believe that sometimes the lesson is that God wants you to be more of who he made you. And so if you are naturally loving and you're naturally giving, he wants you to keep being giving and loving and all those things. And when you put clearly in this universe what you want God to give and you are in sync, is going to come. Okay. Here's a prime example. And I know this is all hard to believe, but I think you know my weight loss story, you know my Weight Watchers story, you know how I put that into the universe and God delivered. This is this year's story. I was going to save this very brief story until the end of the year and do a whole post about it. Every year I come up with my one word of the year. The year that I asked God to give me influence, he gave me a whole Weight Watchers campaign. When I asked God to give me greater impact in the world, he gave me a whole new career and a whole new career trajectory. This year, I asked for the word I asked for was significance. And I wanted God to give my life too many people, too many fake people, too many people that shouldn't be in my life. They just started to come because you asked for influence. I asked God to give me influence, so that came with people. I asked God, and these were people that I was having an influence on, impact on, fake, people that didn't have, and I see it. You know, I didn't change anything. I said, God, just give me significance, however you want to do it. God gave me a pandemic where I had to be quarantined and everybody was pulled away and taken out of my life. And the only people that I interact with now are the people that I am meant to interact with. God brought people back into the picture that I haven't talked to in years. And God took away all of the people that gave me pause, reservation, or raise a red flag. God took them away. I haven't heard one word from these people. Not a response on Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram. Not one response. So to me, I asked God to make these people significant. God made them made those who should be significant and those who shouldn't be became insignificant. And so I say, once you ask God and define what you want, it's coming. It's going to be there.
Can I interject? I think it's once you get specific, once you figure out like what it is that you honestly and truly want and desire, and you manifest on that, and I know I sound like a therapist, but this year was, outside of me losing my father to murder a few years ago, this was one of the hardest years of my whole entire life. When I tell you I have battled everything from depression to weight gain, weight loss. I suffer from PTSD and anxiety because of Iraq and Afghanistan. When I tell you all of that has festered in 2020, but through all of that, this has been the best year of my life, right? Wow. And I know this sounds insane, but it started with the pandemic. It festered into some other personal issues. It transitioned into the issues that I've been battling all my almost 40 years with my mom. Everything hit, and it seemed like it hit all at one time. So I had to get real intentional. And when I say I had to get real intentional, I started meditating every morning. I started doing my affirmations. I started going to therapy once a week. Like, I had to get
manifesting it. Like, call it what it is, because somebody is going to watch this and they want to know more about how to manifest, how to really put into the universe what you want God to deliver. Because the more you do it, the more he does. The more he does. When
you cannot manifest. The best way to say it is, you would not plant a seed and then dig it up the next day to see if it was growing. You would not do that.
That's right.
You have to set it and you have to forget it.
Let it go.
Yeah, you put it out there and that's it. You can't
let it go. Yes.
You can't worry about it. You can't be fearful. You can't be doubtful. You have to go into that thing as if it's already yours. And that has been the biggest thing for me in 2020, just like you said, Zach, when I tell you there were people, one of which I had been best friends with for 13 years. And I hope that nobody that we have in common is on this line, because I just don't want it to be petty, but I just have that point to prove. It was just like a tug of war. And it was just like in my heart, I just could not say like, hey, I just need a break. It's just too much. I just don't want to do it. I could not do it. And like the thing with my mom, it's like every time my phone rang and it was my mom, I got anxiety to the point where I could be gasping for air. And I just put it out there. Like, I need you to remove the things from my life that should not be there, because I'm trying to move into a better place in a new direction. And I didn't have to argue. I didn't have to lose no sleep. None of that had to happen. Bye. It just happened.
It happened. It just happened.
And it's like the peace that has come from those situations alone is unmatched.
And and this is the analogy. The hope and the dream that God has put in you, and God has given you the seed. Whatever the hope is, whatever the dream is, whatever it is that you're wanting, that's the seed, and the soil is faith. You plant the dream in your faith, and that's where the test comes in. You have to have faith and know that God is going to give you exactly what it is you desire. And you have to, and faith doesn't come in doubt. Faith doesn't come in worrying about it. Faith doesn't come in continuously stressing it. It's in you let it go, and you have faith and know God got it. It's going to happen. It's going to be fine. It's going to be taken care of, and it always happens. And the more you do it, the more it comes to pass, and the stronger your faith becomes. And strong faith brings strong blessings.
Yeah,
my business has been flourishing since I got intentional about what I want. And since, people and things have been removed, my edges are coming back. Like my brain grew back. You got the bang yang. Like, it's just you just have to set it out there. And I truly believe that it's gonna happen for you. You just have to get intentional about what it is that you want, and you have to go into that thing like not with blinders and not with a complete guard up. Yeah. But you just have to go in it knowing like, okay, well, this is a red flag and this is a red. But you also have to know that nobody is perfect. So some of the things, because you've been through so much, bless you, some of the things may come off as red flags, but it could be just trauma, unresolved trauma that you've been through.
Right. It's going, and you two need to have a whole ladies where we bring up, you know what, I'm going to organize it. Candy, you get ready, because we're going to lay out a whole panel, a women's panel. I won't be on it, but I'll organize it. We'll lay it out. We'll promote it, because this is some good talk. Tracy wants more of a woman's focus. So it's going to happen. So, NeShanta, you just get ready, and we're going to book it. Candy, you get ready. And just for time's sake, I just want to briefly talk about we got real brief, just what's happened with Breonna Taylor, the update in the Breonna Taylor case. Her family was awarded a $12 million settlement from the city of Louisville. But in no way does this mean that the fight for justice is over. And I think it is something to celebrate for this family. It isn't in any way enough of a compensation, but it's something. Right. And so, and I don't want to diminish that, but don't dare forget that her killers have not been arrested. Yeah. And so here's a tweet that talks about it. It says, so Breonna Taylor has gotten a law, a magazine cover, a TV special, a family wonderful death settlement. Everything but the arrest and charges she deserves. All distractions, no real justice. And another Twitter user said, my city is paying Breonna Taylor $12 million in a wrongful death lawsuit. It is coming from our taxpayer dollars. What pro-cop people don't understand is every time they mess up, we pay for it. While I am happy for the family, I propose we tie their retirement funds to the payouts.
Okay. I'm in agreement. Hayes.
And we still have people all over this country defending the actions of these wrongful cops.
Yeah.
Everywhere you turn.
It's not gonna stop. Are you surprised? I'm not surprised that it's people still defending it. To be honest, I'm not even surprised that they're not locked up yet. I'll just be honest.
Yeah.
I'm not.
I think I would sleep well, regardless of how much money they paid me, knowing that the people that killed my loved one are still able to walk around the world and have their job and, be able to live normal lives. There's not enough money anybody could pay me for the loss of a sister or a brother, of a mother or father in something like this. I want my family back. And if I can't have them back, I need your life. Something needs to happen to you.
It's hush money. I feel like it's just hush money. Let me throw some money at the situation, and
that's going to stop the protest. That's going to quiet people down. And again, I still don't think that, because I see Black people on social media saying arrest the killers of Breonna Taylor. Number one, many of them don't even know the names of the 3 men who killed her. So they haven't even Googled to research that. Number two, they don't understand that this isn't a function of how government necessarily works. This goes up the chain to the attorney general that you elected. And Daniel Cameron is the elected attorney general, a Black Republican who worked for Mitch McConnell, who married a family friend of Mitch McConnell, who rebels in white love and white appreciation. That's the attorney general.
Is literally in bed with the enemy.
And of course you're not going to get justice. Maybe all along we shouldn't have been saying arrest the killers of Breonna Taylor. Maybe we should have been saying let's impeach Daniel Cameron. Let's Daniel Cameron take action, do something about this, and then put more energy on getting Mitch McConnell out of office. The fact that this man is still up in the polls when he has done everything to hurt Black people, brown people, and poor people in Kentucky is baffling.
Can I say it? I'll say it. I'll be the one to say it. F it, I'll say it. It's trendy. It's popular. If I say this on the Shade Room, people will think that I'm woke, and I might get 300 likes if I say arrest the killers of Breonna Taylor. That's it. Like it's fake woke. It's fake woke. Let's just be honest. Let's just be honest. Like you say, a lot of them don't know the names of the cops. A lot of them do not care. It is fake woke. It is a trend. Let me look like I give AF because I'm posting this meme on my Instagram.
And that's all we're going for. As we approach the conclusion, we're getting ready for our up, down, and clown. So think about the best of the week, the worst of the week, the crazy of the week. And NeShanta, any products that you've purchased or things that you love that you would want to recommend to our audience. But many people in America on Sunday night, they watch this Patti LaBelle versus Gladys Knight battle. I have not seen any versus battle this year. I watched a brief clip of Jill Scott and Erykah Badu. It was a whole bunch of talking, and I clicked off. I know they've gotten better. I haven't seen any other ones, but I did watch this one on Sunday night. I have opinions, but before I share any, I want to hear from the ladies about these legends of the music industry.
I didn't watch it. I'm not a TV watcher anyway, so it's gonna take a lot for me to watch it. But I watched a couple of clips. I think I watched Funky Dineva give his a bit of his take on it, and I think it was great. I've always been a fan of Patti and Gladys Knight. I think they are two powerhouse singers, and every time I see them live, they give a real clinic on how to sing. Sang, and a lot of people can't, like these young girls can't hold a candle to those divas, those legends. So, I mean, hey, but I do know they're going to start doing verses with actors. They're going to start doing scenes against scenes. So that's
gonna be exciting. You're gonna watch that.
I might watch one or two of those, maybe.
I think for me, I'm like you. Zach, I started watching the Jill and Erica, and I was so hyped because I love Erica, and Jill is cool. But I was like,
I love Erica too. Erica's the one.
Yeah, are we gonna talk or are we? And it was just so much rambling that I was just like, okay, this is not interesting me. I watched a little bit of Monica and Brandy. But again, it does not hold my attention. So I did not watch this one, but baby, that old nasty piece of purple sequin.
Didn't they come dressed though?
Oh my word.
They look great. Patti LaBelle, Gladys Knight looked amazing. And so, Black Don't Crack, I know they both probably had some work done at some point as they got a little older, maybe a small face and both, but they got it done right. So many people get work done probably too early, and it isn't really going to help and work. And so neither one of them, you can't tell what they had done. You just may know they may have got something done. So I applaud that. I will be honest with you and tell the truth. People have lied on social media. People have lied. People, were biased. I know we love Patti LaBelle. I love Patti LaBelle. Patti LaBelle has a beautiful discography. Patti LaBelle did not prepare for this versus battle. I don't think Patti even knew what she was doing.
Patty
did not. Guess what? Patti 77, Gladys Knight is around the same age. Gladys Knight prepped. She practiced. She knew her lyrics. She sang every song. And Gladys Knight gained new fans. And she brought attention to some of her hits that I didn't know. So the young people, younger than us, didn't know. That was what the whole point is. You bring back the real legends so the young people will learn who they are. And Patti did not know her words, and she was singing over tracks because she didn't know the words, and it was clear, and it didn't sound very good. It just didn't sound good. She looked good.
Like, I feel like at that age, are we really what else does she really need to prove to us?
Nothing. Nothing to prove.
Like, I feel like
if you're gonna do it and you're gonna commit to it, do it
right.
But what's a right or wrong way? Like, nobody has really told us what the rules of this is. You know what I'm saying? Like, there hasn't been a standard in which we do verses. Like, Babyface sat there and just played the songs, and it's like, what's the standard?
No, I agree with that. The concept.
Just because what's her name? Gladys came and knew her songs. We gotta also know Gladys has been doing a residency. She did a residency at in Vegas for a couple of years. Now I'm telling you, the more you practice something, the more it's ingrained. Patti ain't been doing concerts and touring.
Let me tell you something. I get that.
It wasn't free. You're getting paid for a job. Do your job.
There you go. They got a cut. You're not gonna tell me, sis, you down here to the local Walmart making
if you ask me to do a monologue that I did in 1997, I'm gonna look at you and be like, what?
Right. And
I asked you to do it on the spot, but if I give you 3 weeks to get ready, you'll be ready.
And I wouldn't do that now.
Well, don't sign up to do it, Trace.
But that's not what verses is. There is no right or wrong. I can show up whatever way I want to. I don't have to know the lines to something or the song. I ain't got to.
And I agree with that. From what we've seen, and that's the reason why probably we don't watch it. Like, to be honest with you, because there is no real rhyme or reason. So even though
it's not like we put them up there and was like, you sing your song and let's see who has the best vocals in this round. Ding, 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 Patti won. It's not we haven't set us.
Hold on. Keep talking. I'm so sorry. I know this is hella unprofessional.
No, what you gotta do?
We gonna keep talking.
Yeah, this is a good time, Tracey, for us, to go into the up and the down, the clown. Tracey, what's the up for you this week? What's the good news? What is the good news?
The only news that matters is that this time next week, I will be in a new location.
And the new homemade Candace says she used your inspector.
I saw that. Yes, Eddie Jones is the best Candace. You can't go wrong. So hey, the good life.
That's some good news. That's some good news. I'm trying to think in the news. Trying to think what are some good things that I've seen this week. There's always some good news, and but nothing really pops into mind. NeShanta, what's some good news for you this week?
For me, in the news or personally?
Either one.
Good news for me, and this is probably going to sound harsh, but it stems back to the conversation that we were having earlier about loving yourself. I'm sorry, I had to run up and down steps. Following paying close attention to your intuition and tapping into who you are as a person. For me, one of my positives is the fact that Cardi owned
yes.
That what did her tweet say? It said something like she was wasting her time. And for me, I think that a lot of people hold on to that relationship goals. It's a goal. We're looking like a power couple to the streets, but we're sleeping in separate bedrooms at home. This man is continuously embarrassing you in front of the world, and you're taking him back. So the fact that she owned and took back her power, that was one for me.
Yeah.
I've grown to love her more and more. And when people attack her, this is the thing. I wasn't a fan at first. I wasn't a fan of Cardi B because I saw what she was then. But now I see who she is now. She is one of the few celebrities that I see growing in front of my eyes. She's growing up. She's maturing. She's learning. And so I constantly have to, be careful of how I judge people based on how they present, because there's a lot more depth in everybody than what maybe sometimes they see. And I guess give God all the glory and the praise and I do have good news is that this week I hit my sales quota. And I don't want to talk too much about it because I don't want to brag. I don't want to come up because this is a tough time in life for a lot of people in the sales industry. It's a very hard time. And I'm just but I think God, when I said I had no good news, God said, what did I do for you? Like, that was a real thing because, for those watching who know me, I changed whole careers. I threw away, in some ways, 4 degrees in the educational field, 17 years in the educational field. Those things benefit me every day, but I'm not working in that field. I'm not doing that anymore. And I've proven to myself more than anything else by hitting my quota that I can succeed in a new field, that all I need is faith. And I got it. And it worked out very well. So I'm really excited about that.
I think one thing I read something a few days ago, and it says normalize celebrating yourself without feeling as though it's bragging, because the people who support you, the people who understand, and the people who are confident in themselves won't take it as bragging. No, for you to leave a career of 17 years and make it successfully into something brand new, that's not a brag. You earned it. You deserve that, and you deserve to be able to talk about that without feeling like you're bragging.
Yeah. And it's not like he does that often. You know what I'm saying? It's not like you walk around here every day, talk about, look what I did. Occasionally pat yourself on the back. Shoot, so we can celebrate you because some stuff
we are going to celebrate. Look, on Black Friday, I get my bonus for the quota. We are going to celebrate that. You can guarantee it.
Yeah.
Now, one thing I do is spend some money. When I have it, I know how to spend it. Some people aren't like that. I get it. Some people are about, let's save. God bless me to live. He's going to keep on blessing me. Keep on. So with that being said, it's time to go into the products that we love. NeShanta, what we do every week, we talk about things that we found in the week that we love, products that we want to share with people who are watching. Starting this week, I'm going to take a little clip. I'm going to put it out there also on the Instagram and on the YouTube as a clip. What products this week, ladies, are things that you have that you love? Think about it, NeShanta. Tracey, what did you get? What is this week's product you love?
Well, today it finally came in the mail, and I got my.
You've been waiting for this one.
I got my Lamar Lewis collection mask, and I love it.
Lamar was last week's guest for those who may have missed him, and he's a fashion designer. The whole month of September is all about fashion styles and looks. And so that is a very fetching mask, Tracey. You love it.
I got 3.
Tell us what were the prices on the website for those who may be interested and finding more about it.
Very affordable. And y'all, I'm gonna be honest, this is the first one with these little ear thingies that fit on my ears. So
they actually fit well.
Yeah, and it's snug here, and I get a little air here. It kind of reminds me, I have a those visor masks where it's breathable. So I like this. I really do. So Lamar Lewis collection.
A lot of people. The ear straps for a lot of people make it very uncomfortable. So I'm glad to hear those are comfortable and it works well.
I told you, girl, I'm about to buy a handbag. Next week is gonna be you.
I can't wait to see it. NeShanta, what is there a product you want to share with our viewers?
Oh my God.
You can keep thinking if you want me to go into mine and give you a little more thought time.
Like, I feel like I need to walk around my room and look at stuff. But yeah, you go. Go. I got it. Business.
Yeah, so I want to share 3 things with you. I want to share, first off, I grew up in rural Mississippi. And so this time of year, my great grandmother and the whole family, what we would do is we would go out, we pick plums, we pick peaches, we pick all this stuff. We eat what we could eat. We make pies, we make turnovers. But then when there was a surplus of fruit, what you do is you then make your jelly and your jams and your preserves. And so we grew up eating preserves. So I know some of y'all grew up eating Mrs. Buttersworth, or you grew up eating Angel Mama, and Angel Mama wasn't, she didn't love y'all, but you grew up putting that on your food. What we used, of course, was the actual homemade preserves. And so as an adult, I definitely don't want Smuckers or jams and jellies that you can get in the store. And it's sometimes very difficult to get the really good stuff. McCutcheon's is a brand that you can get at Publix, Publix, all the stores, Kroger. I get mine from the DeKalb Farmers Markets. They also carry the Whole Foods, and it tastes like the real thing. It doesn't have a lot of added preservatives or added sugars. It tastes like real fruit preserves and real fruit jam. I love it. I actually eat it I don't typically do breakfast. I do lunch, but my lunch is typically breakfast food. And I eat it almost every day with my breakfast. My favorite flavors are the peach, the strawberry, and the whole cherry. I love that whole cherry. In addition to the McCutcheons, I also want to share, I think anyone who knows me, I saw on Laurel, she was a guest at the show. Laurel, she's right here in the bottom corner. One of my former students, and she joins us sometimes on the live cast. Laurel had these Goli apple cider vinegar gummies on her Instagram swipe up. So I saw it, I ordered some, and I absolutely was surprised. I do take my apple cider vinegar every day. Like, I believe in all the things you can do to keep yourself healthy in the time of Corona. That for me includes elderberry. That for me includes ginger, turmeric, and garlic tea. And that includes apple cider vinegar. But the taste isn't, for me, very appealing. But I still force myself to take my shot. I chase it with water. I found these on Laurel's page. And these apple cider vinegar gummies are just as potent as the shot of apple cider vinegar. And they actually taste really, really good. So if you have never tried, they sell them in the stores, they sell them on Amazon, they're very cheap. If you have not tried these apple cider vinegar gummies, you are missing out. They are the real deal. I was very impressed and I was surprised. The last thing I want to share is this ordinary caffeine serum. That's Lizzie Mathis, who was with us last week. Lizzie's a lifestyle designer. Lizzie, actually, her picture's on the wrong thing. We'll come back to that. But this is ordinary caffeine solution. Look at my face. You guys know I have natural bags under my eyes. I know I shouldn't be self-conscious about them, but I am. And this ordinary caffeine serum, you put it under your eyes, on your bags. For me, they don't come from not sleep. They're just natural, but they do decrease the bag. So I would imagine if you actually don't have like genetic bags, you have actual sleep bags, they won't even be seen at all. It works like a miracle. You don't put a lot, very little, a small amount. This one bottle of ordinary serum will probably last me for 2 or 3 years.
Oh,
okay, I'm gonna have to get some of those. I'm over here buying me a shirt.
Okay, so I have two. The first one, because we've been talking about business. I want to leave a business tip for all business owners who ship. I used to use my printer and I would buy labels and print out for there. And every other week I would have to buy new toner and cartridges and everything. So invest in a Rolo. They have knockoff brands of it. But I invested. It wasn't cheap, but it wasn't expensive. And it's thermal heat. It's about this big. And it comes with the label. So when you're doing your shipping, I literally printed out all of my shipping labels for about 30 orders, and they printed out in about 30 seconds.
From the Rolo.
From the Rolo. It's sitting right here. This is the Rolo. This is what the labels look like. And I was spending for 200 labels, I was spending about $30 for that. You get 1,000 of these for $20.
Wow.
And you can not only print your shipping labels, you can print off other things. Like if you go to the website, it'll tell you other things that you can put through here to ship. It has saved so much time, so much effort. So this is one of the things that I would recommend. I would recommend all business owners who have to ship, invest your money in a Rolo. So that's one. On the health and wellness tip, I would suggest the company is in the process of launching now. It's called Elixir. And one of my friends is starting this company, and what he does, he had cancer, and he did 2 rounds of chemo, and he just decided that he did not want to put his body through that. So he did a lot of research, and he came up with this drink, and the drink has everything that you need in it. It has wheatgrass, it has vitamin C, it has ginger, it has turmeric, it has the distilled water, like all of the thing. And he literally buys everything, all of the pills and the minerals, and grinds them up and then mixes it all together, and he makes this elixir that he actually beat cancer with that. So he's starting to make them, bottle them, and sell them. So I know for me, with COVID being around, like every time I get a cough or a sneeze or whatever, I'm like, oh Jesus, do I have the Rona? Like I'm over here sneezing, like I'm completely paranoid. So I woke up with a sore throat this morning because I had a photo shoot yesterday, and the shoot was actually outside in the rain. So my throat was sore, and I was nasally, and I just took a shot of it, and I literally have been able to get through my whole day. I feel so much better. I don't feel sick at all. So that's something I think it's worth investing in. They're going to be sold by the gallon, and then they're $40. So once he actually goes live with it, I'll be posting it on my Facebook and Instagram.
I'll be on the
send us that too.
I will.
Yeah.
And last week, Tracey, you talked to us. Yep, you're ready. Look, you're buying. You're on there.
I already got it.
Thank you.
I will be on the shop.
You've already bought it. I know last week, this is the paint that you ordered from Claire. This is Claire, recommended by lifestyle influencer Lizzie Mathis, who joined us last week. This is the paint that you bought, Tracey.
Not that color, but yes.
And so everyone comes in a different
color. I got a color like similar to this gray.
You bought, and so this is a Black-owned paint company recommended to us by Lizzie. So again, if you have any projects coming up, you want to order your paint, you want to get that, we firmly recommend it. It has been a phenomenal show tonight. Thank you. Yes, NeShanta.
Tracey, I know we're going to talk on the back end for the interior design, but if you need somebody to put that paint on the walls, I have an amazing contractor. He does chandeliers, painting. He's on my team. He does the chandeliers, painting, floors, whatever you need. So we can talk offline about getting your project.
I'm just doing my accent wall. I'll do that, but I will need chandeliers.
Okay.
Once you come in and get me together.
I got you.
I need a handyman just to hang a picture. So I need somebody to hang. I have for this wall right here. It's gonna be right here. I got my art piece ready. It's got to hang it. So
and I love your red chair. This is the inaugural show for the red chair. It is so you. It makes you pop.
I do. I love that chair.
I love
it. It's much better than the stairs in the background. It's much better than last week's background.
Oh, I like both, but this is so fitting of a king.
Oh, thank you, Tracey. So, what a great show. Thank you guys for joining us. We appreciate it. And we will see you guys not next Thursday. We're going to give you a chance to catch up. Tracey's going to be moving and getting everything set up, internet and all that good stuff. And so we're going to take a 1 week off, and we'll see you back the following week here on the 3+1 Livecast.
Bye, guys. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for joining. Bye, guys.
Bye.